Hi fans of high quality entertainment. You thought there was something wrong with your video, didn't you? We fooled them. Now Jinx this morning, it was weird, but Jinx sometimes talks, and she was eating as usual, and she looked up and she said, "How did the Beatles change music, Master?" And so I'm going to tell you. Actually, recently Molly and I, my girlfriend Molly and I, did a Beatles trivia, and I didn't do very well at it. And so I was looking up Beatles questions the other day, and this came up. How did the Beatles change music? It's an article in NME, and it's by Mark Beaumont. And so I thought I would read it to you because if I could write this well, this is exactly what I would write. In fact, I wrote it. Fundamentally, in an ideological sense. I don't know what that means. What's sense mean? They were the first band to release a full album of self-penned songs, A Hard Day's Night. Let's think about that for a minute. Wow. Setting a new standard that future bands were expected to match, and their staggering stylistic development from mercy beat pop to sprawling experimental free-for-alls inside 9 years became a blueprint for rock and roll creativity that few have come close to repeating since, except Nickelback. Stomach's rumbling just after I said Nickelback. That's weird. It's not weird. In terms of pop culture, they were central in popularizing movements such as psychedelia, 60s folk, and hard rock, and many styles of modern music can be traced back to songs casually tossed onto their experimental later albums. The White Album's Helter Skelter, for example, is considered amongst the first ever heavy metal songs, and tracks such as When I'm 64 and Martha My Dear tapped into the music hall show tune tradition that inspired David Bowie. Their technical advances opened up huge vistas of musical possibility too. Whether they were amongst the first to use new instruments like the mellotron, or pioneering the use of samples and tape loops on pop records, notable with Tomorrow Never Knows, widely considered the origin of dance music. I think there was dance music before Tomorrow Never Knows, but I kind of know what he's getting at there with, I guess, raves and everything, and that kind of rave music or whatever, you know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just read this guy. I stole this guy's thing on the Beatles, and I just credit myself with writing it. But I also want to say that I am not. Some people are going to think, oh, Blair, it's Beatles, Beatles, Beatles. And in reality, it isn't. The Beatles, for me, are the greatest band of all time, the greatest artist of all time. But that being said, I'm not a huge collector. I never, even if, you know, if I was a multimillionaire, which I'm not, I don't think I'd be a huge collector of the Beatles or any band. I mainly focus on just their music, you know, their albums, and even bonus tracks, you know, like demos and all that. I'm not always that interested in, although I love the ones for the White Album and Sgt. Pepper, but mainly the White Album. But, you know, even their BBC recordings, when I buy them, you know, like Live at the BBC. This one I bought I think that's a remastered version, but this one is from 1994, and I think I've played it maybe 3 or 4 times, if that. And then a later one, Live at the BBC Volume 2, I've played it maybe once. I have, you know, besides the Beatles' actual albums, I have so much music I love. You know, Yes, I'm getting into Van Morrison now, and Grand Funk Railroad, Sparks, Frank Zappa, Radiohead, all kinds of music. But for me, it all starts with the Beatles, because if it wasn't for the Beatles and the variety in their music, it's like all the different genres they did when they were a band, then I wouldn't have an interest in, like heavy stuff like Motorhead, thanks to Helter Skelter, or weird stuff like Captain Beefheart, thanks to stuff like, Revolution Number 9, which is, back in the day when you're a young kid, that's beyond weird. But after you play it a few times, it's like, I get it. This is supposed to be scary and freaky and entertaining, and I actually enjoy it. But I also totally understand people that, hate Revolution Number 9, but still, love the Beatles. So what I'm basically saying is, the Beatles are the greatest rock band of all time, but that being said, I listen to a lot more than just the Beatles. Okay? I hope you learned something today. It's for you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.